Brother Love, aka Diddy, he had hidden cameras throughout all of his residences, and apparently or allegedly, he has dirt on celebrities, politicians, athletes, executives, royalty, right? And a lot of the stuff that was going down at these freak offs included drugs, alcohol, minors, and prostitutes.
Disgusting.
This has been a beautiful awakening of truth. You don't have to believe it, but you got to go just search for it. Yeah. It's all over the internet now. And if we want to, we could dive into the lawsuit, because I think that most people haven't read the lawsuit. I say 99% of people haven't read it. So for those who are listening on Spotify or Apple Music, I just want to sum it up for you to make it very simple. Little Rod, aka Mr. Jones,
Rodney Jones,
somebody that he hired on to make, I think, one album with. He was with him from 2022, probably end of 2023.
He made the last album, the Love album.
The Love album.
Yes.
And Rodney, I guess what triggered it was he woke up in bed after being drugged with Diddy and a few other associates, and he didn't know what happened. And then he also got to film and witness many things that were not aware in the public. So he decided to bring everything to light and shed light on it. And throughout the entire thing, it shows where G, I think is another black male that was at Sean Diddy's home, was shot. It shows in the bathroom, or I guess as he says, Diddy and his son was walking out the bathroom. G's on the ground in a fetal position, holding his gut that just got shot at and his leg. And there's blood all over the scenes. You want to pull up the actual footage on the lawsuit for me, Matt, so people can see it? Wow. There's blood all over the bathroom. And when he called his guy, who is his go-to when it comes to cleaning up his messes, the news article said that there was a shooting outside of his home, when clearly it was not outside of his home. Yeah. So what's beautiful about this is that now they got even deeper. And in the lawsuit, if you scroll down some more, he also talks about how he holds all the stuff from other people that does stuff in his home. One of them was go down some more. It was go down. Yes, right here. Right here. Stevie J. Wow. Stevie J having sex with Stevie J having sex with a white male, and it says in this lawsuit,
wait, with a white male?
White male.
Oh, that's a male?
Yeah, that's a man titty.
White male. Scroll down some more. There's more pictures.
Wow.
There's more pictures.
How are there pictures in a lawsuit?
So he has all this footage on his phone, and now this is coming to light. So it didn't have to be us speculating. This is just what the facts are laid out as.
This seems to be hard evidence.
Correct.
Well, it goes, my eyes are lying to me.
It goes deep, right? This is just one of the incidents. Matt, pull up the Rolling Stones article.
Oh, that's what I was going to be. Actually, as you're about to talk about that, right? This dude has like 3 decades.
He has a track record.
Yeah, like 3 decades of being in legal troubles, and you got to ask yourself, is he protected? Right? Is
obviously.
He protected? 3 decades, bro?
Yeah.
And you're not you don't go to jail, and you're constantly violating laws, and you're jumping back and forth that thin line, and you don't go to prison?
Correct.
3 decades. We're talking over 30 years.
When you make enough money, you can hire fall guys for you. Basically, Shine, the whole Shine thing was he took the fall for him. Yeah. Right?
Well, allegedly,
right? Yeah. So, I mean, when you have that kind of power, which this is what it seems to be, Diddy's kind of obsessed. He's a narcissist. He's obsessed with power.
Yeah. Yeah. And before you go down that track record that starts, 1991? Yep. Is he protected? Because allegedly Diddy is a Freemason. That's right. He is a brother of the Masonic Oath of the Lodge, right? And allegedly, there's been a lot of FBI agents that are Freemasons, including former FBI director J. Edgar Hoover. He received what's called the Masonic Grand Lodge Medal for Distinguished Achievement. We're talking about the director of the FBI allegedly being a Freemason also.
Wow.
So you want to talk about being connected.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're connected to the director of the FBI.
Maybe that's why you weren't at your house when they were getting raided.
Wow.
But your sons were.
So when you go through this, and what I'll say before we even get into it is, we are in spiritual warfare, and you are either on one side or the other, right? There's no lukewarm. You're either hot or cold.
Can I real quick?
Yep. Ooh. So there is no lukewarm. You're either hot or cold. And so if you scroll down, Matt, we'll go through kind of just the article itself. And so, nope, go down a little bit more.
And they say, by the way, they say that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the
problem. So you could see 1991. We'll go through these pretty quick, but you could see CCNY. This was a basketball game that they hosted where I believe 9 people died, 29 people injured. Jeez. You have the Jake Robles shooting in 1995. You have attacking Steve Sout in 1998. You have Club New York shooting. That was a really big deal
that's
in
the
99.
one with Shine.
Yeah, J-Lo was with him at the time.
That's the one with Shine.
So that was the one that you brought up. You have the scuffle with J. Cole in 2013. That was swept under the rug pretty quickly.
Him, right?
Yeah, it was like behind the scenes. And that was allegedly, right? Yeah. Allegedly punches Drake in 2014. Fights UCLA coach 2015.
Bro, he's fighting a coach?
Alleges Gina Hune, hopefully I said that right. Alleges abuse 2019. Cassie obviously filed the suit.
Oh, that was the 24-hour payout.
It's a lot of allegations.
Jane Doe sues for 1991 rape and revenge porn. Diddy faces 3rd sexual assault suit. So, and then 3rd Jane Doe files lawsuit. But you know, what you're looking at is you're looking at a man that's hyper powerful, has plenty of resources. We're looking at the Epstein of the hip hop industry, but let's go a little bit deeper. What do we know influences the youth of today's age? We know that it's media, music. So if you have someone, the powers that be, and you need someone to control your narrative, wouldn't you want someone like Diddy to actually facilitate all these things for you?
At what price?
Oh, well, it's the price of his soul.
It costs it's even deeper than that.
Protect your cornhole, bud.
When he used to take on artists, Diddy would take on artists, and he would change her last name to his last name. And to dive into something deeply spiritual, you think about a baby, right? The word, let's break down the word. I like etymologies. The word baby. Bay is a body of water, and bee is what? An insect that produces honey. We're known as humans to have our spirit be the golden elixir, right? That honey that exists in us. So a lot of times these lizard people or these dark forces of the world that reside in other people's vessels, they like to, believe it or not, they like to consume the aura of youth that are glowing, right? That's why they call it the natural born star. So when you're a natural born star, everybody either wants to touch you, be around you, be affiliated with you. And I think that a lot of times we're not looking at deep into what's really happening. I think there's something that we don't understand that could be Masonic, that could be demonic, where he takes either Justin Bieber into his home or any other people.
Started with Usher.
Right? They go to Diddy camp. That's what they call it.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah, Orlando Brown, who's been speaking about this for a while.
The ooshwash.
Usher was actually on Howard Stern, and I believe it's like at the end of the interview, and he goes, "Would you allow any of your children to go and be a part of that?" And he said, "Absolutely not."
Oh my God.
Right? This is somebody that was in it. You look at the Justin Bieber video just to talk about it, and Justin Bieber is just a 15-year-old kid. He goes, I only got Justin for about 48 hours, but we're going to make something happen in 40. He's mine for 48 hours.
They flipped that poor boy inside out.
Yeah.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. Wow.
But there is something going around that I would love for us to watch is what is the relationship with Diddy and Meek Mill?
Well,
oh my God.
Real quick, Meek Mill.
Cover your ears.
That
kids.
might be one of the dudes that either he groomed or he allegedly sexually assaulted, but Meek Mill is probably one of the many that kept his mouth shut, right? Because in this case, closed mouths get fed, right?
Yes.
Ooh. Why don't we play that whole audio, that disturbing audio that was going around the internet?
Kids, cover your ears.
Allegedly, this was Diddy going to town, clapping Meek Mill's cheeks during, I don't know, some type of gathering, right? This is P. Diddy clapping Meek Mill's cheeks. So if you want to play that real quick.
Allegedly. I mean, it sounds like me.
It does sound
It sounds like
Wow, bro. You want to talk about dreams and nightmares all at the same time, right? No pun intended.
Haters,
No.
rest in peace to my booty hole. That's what he's saying.
The reason I say that, right? That's how I came across Meek Mill was, that very popular song, Dreams and Nightmares. I mean, at the same time, while allegedly he's getting his cheek slapped, his dream's about to come true, but man, a man's nightmare is also coming true also.
At the cost of a nightmare.
At what cost? Like what cost does it come with to become so popular to have to give up your manhood? And I think that's what happens in the industry is that a lot of these young adolescents, they want to be the rising star and they don't know what it comes with. Another analogy I had is when a young girl desires to be a princess or a queen, and if you're like someone like Megan, who gets the position of being a princess, you realize,
Stallion?
No, Megan
Markle.
with Prince Henry.
Yeah, Megan.
When you get into the role, you realize that maybe being a princess is not what I wanted because you have to realize what it comes with to be that. Just like a business owner. I want to be a business owner, but I don't know what it comes with when it comes to the heartache, the anxiety, the lawsuits. So now when these young kids that get into the rap game, they want to be the star and they get into the room and say, hey, this is what has to happen. I mean, if you really want to be that person, and then they get their manhood extracted from them. Not everybody, but some of them do. And they don't talk about it because they get what they want on the other end.
Well, Meek, because Jay-Z is also very close with Diddy, right? There's a lot of people that are like, where's Jay at right now?
Very
He's
close,
silent.
right?
Silent.
Hey, yo, no Diddy.
But look at who helped Meek out with his case.
Yeah,
It
Jay-Z
was
got him out of
Jay-Z.
jail.
And what did
Jay-Z got him
Kanye?
out
By the
of
way,
jail.
what did Kanye say? What did Kanye West say about Meek Mill and Diddy? That they're CIs,
For sure. For
they're
sure.
informants.
Well, I mean,
Right? That's what he said. Remember that he's like, y'all want to talk tough? You guys are informants.
Yes,
you know,
he did.
right?
He did say
He
that.
did say that.
Well, maybe the price of freedom was his butt cheeks.
Oof.
What shall it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul?
Let me just hit the oof button.
The light even turned on over there, bro. That was
you got
powerful.
very angelic on that one.
There's now that all this stuff's coming out about Diddy, like there's allegations of, when he was with Cassie, there's videos of him at interviews and stuff where she's just kind of sheltered. She came out when she was dating Diddy. She came out that she was sexually abused. She was, physically, mentally, verbally abused. But after they broke up, Kid Cudi and Cassie had like a friend's relationship, and she confirmed that Diddy may have had some part in Kid Cudi's car getting blown up after that. So that's jealousy and rage. Like if you're
This dude has demons.
if you're
inside of him.
counting like
he is a
sins,
demon.
if you're counting him like how many sins this guy's filled with, I would say he's filled with all seven.
Here's go ahead.
I was gonna say, what do you guys think though? If you know how when somebody is gaining power and then all of a sudden they're at a level maybe a little too powerful, they got to be taken down. What do you playing devil's advocate? What do you think if that's happening?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that, right? Is this just another Black Swan event, right? Is this a big distraction, right? What's a Black Swan event? It's an unpredictable event that becomes way more than what it was supposed to be, but it becomes a huge distraction also. And it's like, man, do they have us looking this way because they don't want us to look that way as something's going on? I always feel like I just can't even trust anything that happens anymore, right? I don't even know what's real.
Like what bills are they trying to pass? Like what
An even new perspective is, for me as a young Black male, when you are a young adolescent that is African American in America, you aspire to watch people who are doing something that you desire to do or living the lifestyle you desire to live.
Right.
Well, you look at Kanye, then you look at Kyrie, then you look at everybody in these situations, Diddy, who were billionaires or multimillionaires or icons. And then you go deep into it and realize what he had to do to get to where he's at. And then you realize that he's not the ideal idol that you aspire to be. And every time a Black man does climb, I know that he's done some crazy, every time they do climb, you do have to knock him down. And I think what Diddy did, he poked the bear. He bit the hand that fed him. Ciroc, when he went after a $3 billion man,
he sued him.
sued a $100 billion company, and they're going to come back with force. They have to. like, hey, we let
They'll
you
make
in.
an example. Yeah.
We let you in. You came in. All you have to do was just be quiet. You didn't want to be quiet, so we have to give you what we do to everybody else. And then we're going to your house. We're going to take what we know can mess us up before it gets out to the public.
Oh, and put your kids in handcuffs.
So they can't
We
grab
have to.
what
Well,
saves
it's
you.
good for the eyes to see that you get spanked.
And real
Yeah,
quick,
family
by the
does too.
way, Cat Williams doesn't sound so crazy anymore, does he?
No.
All things are coming to light in
Well, when
2024.
you have eyes to see and ears to hear, right? And you can see some people. It was sickening for me to watch some of the comments, even on 50's post, because 50 is a troll.
He's trolling, bro.
But I would read some of the comments, and they're like, "This is just another. Why do we have black men tearing other black men down?" It's like, at what cost? So a pedophile could be fine, right?
shit.
So
Yeah.
a guy that is hurting women, and I'll take it even deeper. Just we're all fathers here, and it's like, what I think about long term is, Diddy. This is all tragic, weird, satanic, demonic, whatever you want to call it. But what about his children? Right? Like, what about what his children have went through living in that house, what they might be going through right now, or maybe who they've turned into by
Because
the
of him.
influence of their dad. And we're not going to see that effect until another 10 years, probably.
Yeah.
Do you think that them watching what their dad had to do to build the empire is a reflection of what they possibly might have to do to build their own empire?
Ooh.
And they're watching, hey, is this what it takes to climb to the top of the top? Right.
But there's a lot of successful people that are not part of the club. I mean, how many times have we heard Ice Cube,
Yeah, Ice Cube.
right?
Yeah.
Ice Cube say, "I'm not part of that club, man," and they don't. This is why I got to fund my own movies, and this is why they blackball me out of this and out of that,
Messing with
right?
them.
I mean, he's been saying this for a while.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all this. Because I grew up a huge Jay-Z fan, and then my sentiment, my connection, my emotion towards Jay-Z started to change. You and I connected so much.
That was the
early-
only reason we connected. We
Yeah,
didn't used
'cause
to
I didn't
like each
like you.
other.
See, right?
Yeah.
Like, we connect. We went to watch the Throne together. We've seen Jay-Z maybe 4 or 5 different live events. We grew up huge Jay-Z fans because he brought a message of hope back in the day. Yes,
Correct.
And entrepreneurship.
hustle, hope, right? And now, the last couple of years, it feels dark on that side,
Yeah.
right? It just feels like he is also part of that club. What do you guys think?
You got to think.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. Now that I'm just sitting here thinking about it, right? The first album Jay-Z put out, Reasonable Doubt, right? There's a song on there. I think it's called "The Evils," right? And part of the chorus is, "I never pray to God, I pray to God-E," right? So even at then, and then recently, he did a verse with Rick Ross and them, one of those collaborations on DJ Khaled's
God
album.
did. God did.
And remember we were listening to it, and he was like,
He was the only guy that didn't
he was
give
the
God
only
the credit.
He was only the only guy that didn't even mention God in that verse.
He mentioned
he said-
himself
he said
as a
Hov
god.
did.
Yeah, Hove did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, and we look back at that and was like, man, that's
all this stuff is right in front of our face, isn't it? But
Yeah.
like you said, Garrett, if you want to repeat what you said earlier about
If you have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a mouth to speak, right? And so people are so ingrained with the programming that they put in front of them. And also, these are some people's heroes, right? Like you said, they gave a message of hope. But for me, we have the Diddy, or not the Diddy, the Biggie and Tupac murder. And I think that if you want to pinpoint an event in history, because obviously I was just being born a couple years before this, but anybody that was in hip hop, this was there wasn't as much war going on. We weren't really at war with Eastern cultures at that time. So this was one of the biggest events, the East Coast, West Coast beefs in your guys' day and age, as you guys were growing up in high school and things like that. That was a huge beef. And now you're seeing Keefe D. Keefe D is awaiting trial. And he's went on record multiple times saying that, Diddy was the one who paid him. And supposedly, allegedly, Diddy was so scared about how the beef was going on between Suge Knight, because every time Diddy came to California, Suge was looking for him. And so if you look at it, it's like, well, what are you going to do? You have Biggie, and then you have Tupac. So I'm under the impression that when this event happened, I do believe that Diddy is the one that, co-orchestrated this, because there's multiple people involved, right? It's not just Diddy. And when you're able to have the police, the FBI on your side to make this last for 20 plus years before an arrest is made, you have quite a bit of power at that point in time in 96.
So his power is gone now?
Well,
Like, why'd they turn on him?
hold on, right? So, by the way, allegedly that was $1 million hit, supposedly from that Puffy or Puff Daddy put on Tupac, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly that was $1 million hit, and allegedly that $1 million was paid out,
Correct.
and allegedly
For the receipts.
TPD never got it.
Well, and he
But
also
some-
did Biggie
but the other
as
guy
well.
got it.
Allegedly, he also ran the hit on Biggie as well. They're pretty much saying that it wasn't just Tupac, that he got rid of both of them.
Well, with the way that now, like, everything has come to light, and you really get to see this person's soul, right, and who he's been forever in front of our face.
Yep.
Right.
But we were always thinking like, been around the world, nah, right? Like we were always like looking at Diddy like the producer and the mogul that, the Ciroc guy, and he's always been this demon right in front of our faces. We just didn't have our spiritual lenses on.
Well, and also you couldn't go and get the information as easily as we can today, right? So in the 90s, it's like if you don't hear about it and you're not involved in the mix, you're probably not going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Right? To where now it's like TikTok's blowing it up, Twitter's blowing it up, Facebook, Instagram. So the access to information is at an all-time high. So time will either promote you or expose you. And right now you're getting exposed.
Say that again, please.
Time will either promote you or expose you.
And look, if certain men like to interact with other men, that is your business, right? That is your business. When it comes to kids, then it becomes everybody else's business.
Absolutely.
One thing I want to mention, going back to Jay-Z, is I saw this from his concert. He goes by Hova now, right? Jehovah, Jireh.
I was guilty of it.
And what you see in the concerts when people raise their hand,
Hova.
right? And then what do you do in a church when you surrender, right? You surrender by lifting your hands and you're surrendering. So he said, everybody repeat after me.
Yeah.
Hova.
Idol worship.
Hova.
Yeah,
and what you and you're
idolatry.
giving yourself to him and making him the God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's absorbing that
Wow.
energy or that
Yeah.
flow.
Wow.
But you said it a little while ago too, right? This has all been in front of our eyes. You can go back to in this industry, in the music industry especially, you can go back to when Aaliyah was still alive. Aaliyah was 14, 15. R. Kelly had an open relationship that they discussed, and her album was Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. And if you can pull up the album cover
Wow.
and tell me what you see. This is gonna be interesting.
I haven't even seen this.
You know who that is in the background?
No way. That's R. Kelly?
Wow.
Is that R. Kelly?
Yeah.
Arquetto.
Oh my
Guys,
R.
this
Kelly in
is
the background.
Plain sight.
Plain sight.
They're not
Age
hiding
ain't nothing
this.
but a number.
Well, he's
Wait,
blurry.
I
He's
never
blurry.
noticed that
Do you-
until right now.
Do you think that R. Kelly's sitting in there just waiting to see if he's going to get sold up with Diddy here soon?
I think R. Kelly. You know what? Guess what?
He might squeal.
I was gonna tell you, man.
Looking for a little time off?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You listen, for anybody out
He's
there.
knocking Warden.
Yeah,
Warden.
yeah. It's like, hey,
CO,
yo,
CO.
I
he's
want a
writing kites
deal,
every
right?
morning.
And like R. Kelly's like, I want a deal and I want immunity.
I want a deal and I'll squeal, baby.
Ooh,
Yeah.
hold on.
God.
Man.
Think about it, right? No, listen, for anybody out there that's listening, right, or watching, if you're doing some dirt and you think that your friends aren't gonna rat on you, I got bad news for you. They're gonna sing like a canary, right? Because if it's their lives on the line or your life on the line, they're gonna choose them, 10 times out of 10,
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the logical human response.
My
right?
brother to this day is the only human being that I've known to not rat somebody out. He went to prison and he did his time.
What I will tell you though is, and I told you this
But
a
the
couple weeks
Reyes,
ago.
we live we live under a different code.
Well, you have to remember, you can't be a rat if you're not in that street life, right? You're just a regular civilian. So to call civilians snitches is like it is idiotic because they don't live by that code. They're just civilians that decided to do some dirt. But when you see a real street dude and then they become a rat, that's like different, right? Because you've embodied that you're gonna live and die by this certain code.
Yep,
But
and
civilians,
he did.
and he did, right?
And he did.
And so, but civilians, they don't interact that way, right? So when you tell a civilian, hey, you can either go be incarcerated around a bunch of men for the next 20 years, or you can tell us what's going on and you can hang out with your wife and your kids at the pool here in another month. And logically, no civilian, regular person, day to day is going to say, nope, I'm going to ride for these people, right? It's like, kind of like the 6ix9ine issue. And everybody's like, oh, well, 6ix9ine's a rat. It's like, well, yeah, also the people in the gang were like having sex with his girl, putting him in like
beating him down, degrading him.
Yeah,
right?
It's like you expect that guy to like not rat on you.
Be loyal
That's
to
just
you?
like common. It's common fucking sense.
Right.
But remember, common sense is the least common of the senses.
Oof. Hold on. Ooh. So let me ask y'all this, right? Over now, there's been 3 decades of this stuff going on with Diddy, man, and you know he's even blamed allegedly for unaliving his ex-wife, the Kimberly Porter, right?
And anybody that worked with
has had 3 of Diddy's kids, and at 47 she died of pneumonia unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
Imagine
a lot
what
of
she
people
knew.
Yeah, a lot of people. Oh well, Kimberly Porter was allegedly about to have publish. Kimberly Porter was about to publish a tell-all book.
Yep.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden she gets unalived.
Mm.
So again, there is a history of 3 decades of this going on.
How much time?
And where there's smoke, there's fire.
How much time out of all those allegations in the 3 decades? How much time did Diddy actually spend in jail?
0. You
So
know what's crazy?
If you get away with it once, twice, 3 times, at some point you feel untouchable,
bro. You know what's crazy, Garrett? You know, and going back to this, like the real street dudes out there, not the rappers, because most of them, 99% of them claim to be street.
It's a facade,
right? It's a facade. They're more like as Eazy-E, R.I.P. back in the day, would call them studio gangsters, right?
Correct.
My brother, right? My brother was facing 30 years. And you know what he told me? He didn't take the plea deal. He said, give me a good lawyer.
Say it in Spanish. Say it in Spanish. What do you say?
What? Oh, in Spanish?
Yeah.
He said, I am un buen abogado. Boom. Give me a good lawyer, man.
Yeah.
Because again, he lived by a certain code, right?
Correct.
And that meant everything to him. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm not like, this is, you know, for 30 years of my life, I've been this dude. And I'm not about to change who I am for nobody.
Correct.
I mean, he had all those hidden cameras in the house to make sure that his stack of blackmail for him to get access to things that at levels unprecedented.
You bring a great point. Here we go. A lot of people are saying, including Candace Owens, including Suge Knight, they're saying that wasn't a raid. That was a raid ordered by the top to try to find what Diddy has on all of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Candace Owens
Hold
said,
on. Ooh.
Candace Owens said they're not going in to hide it. They're not going in to find evidence. They're going in to hide evidence.
Candace Owens she's different.
She's on fire.
And just
Shout out to Candace.
shout out to Candace. I'm just gonna say this, and my wife knows this. I think she's hot. I think she's attractive. And I say that as a married man, right? Respectfully. You know, she's a beautiful woman inside out.
She's sharp. She's articulate. She gives people her point of view on things that makes so much sense. And when she says it, it's so sharp and articulate. And Kansas, after she left the Daily Wire, which is a whole different dilemma.
Candace.
Left or got canned?
A lot of things are happening because
That's a whole different
they actually
topic
just
for a
interviewed.
whole different
Yeah.
podcast.
I wouldn't even go there.
We had some. Me and Phil were talking about that the other day.
He threw that
too. It's like-
So
anti-Semitic
I got a
shit on
couple
her, bro.
questions, by the way, right? Diddy, he recently lost over 18 brand partnerships due to all the allegations that are coming out, right? But this is what I wanted to ask you, going back to your point. Did the elite, did the guys or the people at the top finally just turn on them? They're like, man, we can't. You know, you guys ever seen Training Day?
Yeah.
With Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
Remember the 3 wise or the 4 wise men or the 3 wise men?
Yeah.
3.
Eventually they turn on him.
Yeah.
Eventually they turn on
Yeah.
Denzel, right? They're like, this dude's he's too sloppy. He's too sloppy.
Yeah.
We constantly have to bail this dude out.
Which usually happens the higher and higher you get.
And well, not only that, but
Yeah.
your ego and that power and that pride, right? You're like, oh, they'll bail me out. I am that dude.
You know
right?
what it
I am
reminds
him.
me of?
King Kong
I am
ain't got
King Kong.
shit
Exactly.
on
Well,
me.
apparently they did.
You know what it reminds me of? And I love just studying mob history and mafia because there's a lot of principles that are very valuable just for war strategies and just for society as a whole. They are very honorable in their own communities.
And operating as an organization.
Correct. And what it reminds me of is one of the most infamous mafia dons, which was John Gotti, right?
Mhm.
And John Gotti, I mean, he went to court multiple times, was beating multiple murders, and he was like, when it comes to being a mafia don, he was everything the opposite. He was loud. He would walk around his.
He was a star.
He was a
Yeah,
star.
he
He would
was-
walk.
he
People
was.
literally treated him like a A-list celebrity movie star, and so it just reminds me of that scenario. And the same thing for Diddy, because when you do get that powerful, you do think you're untouchable. You've had so many close calls. I mean, look, we just went through the Rolling Stone article for the last 20 years, and he's escaped unscathed every single time.
I mean, power corrupts absolute. Just today, there was an article that said Sam Bankman-Fried is only in 25 years for losing investors billions of dollars, and he only gets 25 years.
In the
And I don't
country-
even think if he'll even do the 25.
He won't
He'll
do
do
25,
like
bro.
12 and a
Country
half.
club.
Yeah.
So the point of the story is, at the end of the day, capitalism, power, money. If you don't become wealthy, then you can't really get protected. And if you do have money and you have no power, then you just still don't have no leverage.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg as well, too, right? Because ultimately, what he's being accused of is child sex trafficking, sexual assault. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're just talking about one individual right here, right? And then this documentary just came out recently about the Nickelodeon documentary that gets into a whole different level, a whole different side, a whole different genre, a whole different culture, right? This is the hip hop
Let's
culture.